So I'm being observed today. I can't really see. Well, maybe if I turn this a little bit more. Ellie is blocked, but Ellie is right there. But Ellie blends in well with the couch from a distance. So these are our in studio instructors today. uh, so hi everybody. Um, Welcome to Tech Talk University. Uh, it's been a crazy day. It's been a crazy week. Yeah, week actually. Yeah. Um, so we've been in Texas almost exactly a week. Yeah, we were in Texas about this time. So yeah, we're close to Texas. So our last Tech Talk University was on the road in Louisiana and Texas, and it was bumpy and it was loud. And I appreciate everybody that hung in there with us through that because it was um, kind of crazy. So, all right, we already got our first question here. I was just reading that. Sorry. I have a question on Filmora. I'm clicking on the export button and I get a spinner for a short time and nothing. I'm rebooting PC and updating. Maybe that will help first time. Yeah. When you started, when you opened up Filmora, did you get any kind of warning about a graphics card um, driver being out of date or anything about the graphics card? Because that's happened to me before. That's why it's always a good idea if you're using, well, whatever editing software you're using. Always save the project before you try to export because if something goes wrong, you don't have to rebuild the pyramid. Okay, Doreen, gotcha. Well, we'll be here for a while, so hopefully your PC will reboot before the show's over, and we can actually figure it out. Okay, I'm glad you saved you saved your file beforehand. Yeah, Filmora is pretty easy program to use. It's very similar to iMovie for those of you who use Apple products, but it's just a lot more feature rich. But the layout and everything's still the same, or very close to the same. Um, we've been using Filmora almost since we started our channel back in December, and I think a few weeks ago we got an update and they started to be really picky about the graphics card and maybe even crashing. So you may be getting some of that. So if it once you reboot your computer and you can't export it again, reach out to Filmora or contact us, and they will. They're pretty good. They're pretty responsive, and they'll help you figure out what the problem is. I haven't had that problem. I've always been able to hit the export button and something happens, but then the problem hits you. I'm still using Movie Maker. Where you have like Windows 95 or something. I did like using Windows Movie Maker though. That was an easy program to use. Uh, okay, I tried that, selected YouTube, but it did the same thing. I I used to upload. I'd export straight to YouTube, but I don't do that anymore. I just export to my PC and then I upload it to YouTube. And the reason why was kind of what Bill was talking about here about having some Wi-Fi issues and things like that when you're doing the export is because if you do have a problem with your internet connection during the export, it could screw things up. So instead of trying to combine a bunch of steps into one thing by exporting straight to YouTube, I'll just go ahead and export it to my PC and then upload it. And one thing that does too is it actually frees up your, um, it exports faster. So if you have other videos you want to edit, you can go edit. You can start editing them while you're also uploading your file to Filmora. So it works out pretty well that way. I'm at 3%. Going to take a while. Are you at 3%? You rebooted your computer and it's at 3%, or you're trying to export again and it's at 3%. Which one is it, Doreen? Lynn, I don't know what reviews you're talking about, so I can't answer your question. 3% on the update. Oh, okay. Well, that could be a while. Yeah, I got hit with a Windows update today on another computer, not this one, at least not yet. I haven't tried to. I usually reboot my computer before I do a live, just to be on the safe side. I didn't do it this time, so if something weird happens, then you know. Um, so we are real quick update class. We are at my daughter's house still, same place we were for Sunday night. We are probably starting our journey back to um, North Carolina tomorrow afternoon. At least that's what I'm looking at. Uh, okay, that sounds like a pretty big update you got going on there. And yeah, even though it just went from 3 to 4%, it could go from 4% to 100%, like that. So hopefully it won't take that long. So we can get that work. We can get that going while we're still there. So Drew, I don't know anything at all about DaVinci Resolve. I've never even tried it. So unfortunately, I can't answer your question. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I hate to say this, but I'm sure there's a YouTube video out there on it. Yeah, Lynn, we've actually reviewed your channel in the past, at least once, maybe twice. So do you remember us doing a channel review for you and the recommendations we gave? Uh, if you don't, then I think probably the best course of action is to try to go back and find. I hate to say this, but to try to go back and find that channel review um, that we talked about with you, and just go through it again. If you've made all the changes we asked about, we recommended, and you want to do another channel review, we can certainly do that. I want the tech to work with me on combining OBS and StreamYard. Yeah, you know what? Or not everybody, a lot of people are trying to get really fancy with doing all the stuff with their live streams, and that's cool. Uh, I'm not personally um, trying to do. I do live streams with just talking, and all the bells and whistles. Um, the biggest bells and whistles I try to do is when Drew and I try to do a. Well, I guess we never said exactly what we tried to do with a dual live stream, but it did. Well, maybe we did. I don't remember. Drew, you might remember. Um, but I'm of the philosophy of I use the KISS philosophy. Keep it simple. No, so just keep it simple. So that's my philosophy. So unless there's something you really need to do to combine like OBS and StreamYard or Streamlabs or whatever the case may be, then just keep it simple. Especially for those of you with um, limited internet capabilities, because if you have limited internet capabilities, full-time RVers, Wi-Fi in an RV park, that kind of stuff, you may run into bigger issues the more stuff you try to do. So just keep it simple. Um, and if you have good content and you have interesting stuff to talk about and do, then you don't need everything else. And you also got to run the risk of not overdoing it, because some things, like I know when Streamlabs first came out with with the green screen, everybody who was doing a live stream was doing a green screen, and they were changing it out every 5 seconds during a live stream almost, and it just got to be too much. And and because it was a new thing, so now everything's kind of rolled back, and a few people still use a green screen. Nothing wrong with using a green screen either, but you know it's like your videos, the videos you make. There's a lot of stuff in whatever program you use, uh, for editing. Most programs, DaVinci Resolve, Adobe Premiere, Filmora, iMovie, whatever, they have features in them that you can do all kinds of cool stuff. And sometimes and you need some put some cool stuff in your videos, just to kind of keep things moving along. But when you put too many effects in your video, and your video just becomes one long attempt at this effect to this effect to this effect to this effect, then the viewer usually kind of doesn't even get the message you're trying to get across, and they might actually just get tired of seeing, this cut, this cut, this cut, this cut, this cut, and turn off your video, and or worse, turn off your whole channel for them. So just keep in mind, less is more. Focus on quality, not quantity. And during that little monologue, I kind of lost track here, so I'm just looking back at the chat and make sure I didn't forget anybody. Again, anybody new in here, hello, welcome. We don't do for this, since this is a college class. We don't take roll. We don't say hello to everybody. I don't anyway. You guys are more than welcome to, obviously, in the chat. But we thank you all for being here nonetheless. We just want to jump right into talking about what we're doing, what we want to do, whatever tech related stuff we want to do. Now, we've been very heavily focused a long time on YouTube channels and doing stuff for your YouTube channels and thumbnails and videos and all that stuff. But Tech Talk University is about anything tech related, and it could be the YouTube stuff, social media stuff, internet for your RV, security systems for your RV, air compressors, tire pressure monitoring systems, whatever. That's what this show's about. And it's not just for you guys to ask me questions and me give an answer that may or that's right to the best of my knowledge, but it's also an opportunity for everybody in here to help each other out, help me learn stuff too, because God knows I am not the know everything person for sure. So I don't think and again, for those of you new too, if you want to ask a question, put the word question in all caps, and then type out whatever your question is. That way there's a better chance of me seeing it. So what we're going to be doing, what I was planning to do today, and it kind of got messed up, was I was going to finally talk a little bit about the new camera setup we've been using. We bought a new camera, an external mic, etc. And I don't think I've actually mentioned exactly what it is on a live. It's not hard to figure out what it is, though, if you pay attention to our videos, and our recent videos rather. And but Shelly and our son Kyle went out sightseeing and took the camera with them, so I can't really show you anything on the camera. Where's our favorite place to go RVing? Well, that's not really a technical question, but I'll answer the question anyway because it is a good question. Our favorite place to go RVing is the next place we're going. And I know that sounds cheesy, and I hear a lot of people say that, but it's true um, because we're full time RVers, so we're always looking forward to the next stop, um, and especially if it's a stop that we haven't been before. Like like we're in Texas now visiting our daughter. We've been here before, so while it's great visiting, our daughter and her husband and their dog over there in a ball. Uh, we've been to Abilene. There's a lot of stuff to do here. Well, we've done most of it, but we're going to kind of take our time on the way back, and we're going to stop at some places that we really haven't stopped before. But with the the situation that's still going on in the world today, a lot of things are closed, and so it's difficult to do much stuff. But our favorite place is the next place. So Drew wants to know, where do I keep my pew pew in my RV? And if you don't know what he means by that, I'm not going to answer that because YouTube doesn't like what that actually stands for. But so I'll say this: a lot of RVs have safes built into them, which is cool, and it's a secure place to store things like that, as long as they obviously will fit in the safe, because they have handheld versions of that, and they have longer versions. But for any type of self protection like that, it does you no good if it's hard to get to. So where do you keep it in your RV is someplace that's easily accessible for you, and somewhere you can also secure it. So that really just depends on your RV. A lot of people put them under the bed. That's a great place to put them unless you need them at 3 o'clock in the morning and they're under the bed and you're trying to scramble to get out of the bed so you can open the bed and get that to protect yourself. And it's even worse if you're like boondocking somewhere and your slides are in and you can't even open up your bed. So it should be someplace where they're easily accessible. So Lynn wants to know, is Shelly and Taylor doing okay? Yes, they are. Shelly and our son Kyle, like I said, is out shopping. And hang on. There's Talon. And still can't see Ellie. Ellie's hidden. And let me see. I don't have anybody here helping me today, so it's going to be a little bit. Yeah, maybe this definition will help you understand what pew pew means. If you still don't know, send me an email at ourepicrvadventure@gmail.com. We just put pew pew in the subject line, and I'll reply and tell you what that actually means. All right. I don't think I've missed anybody's questions. A couple things I'm going to do a video on pretty soon, and I kind of messed myself up a little bit, and here's how. I used Samsung Smart Things at our Sticks and Bricks home for home automation and security. Now, Samsung Smart Things is a hub, like some of y'all might be familiar with, like Hue and some others. So it connects light bulbs, sensors, and things like that together. So you can just say like, hey Alexa, turn on the lights in the living room or something like that. But I actually gave all that stuff to my daughter, including, I'm looking at it right now, and that's what made me think of it. The door contact sensors. So what happened in our house, in our sticks and bricks house, is if the door um, opened up, that would give us a notification that, we get a notification on our phone the door was open. Um, and so we know somebody opened the door. That's cool when you're not home. Um, so I'm trying to think of, what that exact same thing would work in an RV, because all you need is a constant internet source in your RV. I have a constant internet source in my RV using my visible phone, and I have a Ring doorbell already on the door. Um, so if anybody comes to the door, I'll see them and know they're there. Even if they don't, even because it's a motion. For those of you not familiar with the Ring doorbell, it has a motion sensing camera on it as well. So even if they just walk by the RV, I'll know it and I'll get a notification. So if they somehow attempt to come inside through the door, of course, then I would get that. But um, it, but one thing that Smart Things has, I'll show you. It's right here because I haven't installed it yet. Is this guy right here. And all it is a motion sensor. And the really cool thing about this motion sensor is also it is a temperature sensor on it as well. So for an RV, that's really helpful, because if I have this installed in my RV and the installation is you stick it on the wall somewhere or set it on a shelf. There's no wires. It's wireless. It's wirelessly connected to the hub. So this is the whole thing. So matter of fact, it's working right now. Um, so it's probably sending a lot of motion alerts. Um, but that's the. So I'm going to put this on there. Hang on. Thanks, Avenger. You always keep me straight, buddy. So I'm going to get another one of these for me, because I have a Smart Things hub already in my RV. Didn't think of. So I put this in there. So if somebody actually comes in my RV, even if they come through the window, bypass the camera or go in a camera blind spot, come through the window, I'll get a motion detector and alert. Or what's even better, I do have motion sensing cameras inside my RV. And for those of you who, whoops, just lost the blanket. Oh well, that's fine. For those of you that have the use Visible like I do for your internet solution, there's a program you can get, and you don't need Visible for this, anything. It's a program called Alfred. And with Alfred, you can set up a phone to be a security camera, a motion sensing security camera. And for our Visible phone, that's what I've done. I've got it mounted like on the dash of our Class A RV, facing inward. So if somebody does walk in, I can see them. I can actually have a conversation with them from my phone. So that's cool. Okay, I go to MacDill all the time. Have you ever camped there? Yes. Germany Travels Personal Guide. We were there in January for the Tampa RV show. We camped at MacDill, and a matter of fact, 1 year ago this week, we were camping at MacDill. Today was the day we got at MacDill, and yeah, because we were in the process of getting ready to buy our current RV. So we were there in our Class C, and so yeah, love MacDill. It is a cool base. The campground there is really nice. We do have a campground review of MacDill that we shot back in January on our site as well. So you can go check that out if you're not familiar with MacDill's fan camp. All right, and I don't think I missed anybody else's question, but so I do apologize. I won't be looking at the camera that much. I'll be looking down here. So, but yeah, so security on the road, whether you're full time or part time, doesn't really matter. You should always be concerned about your security. And depending on what state you live in, and sometimes even what county and city you live in, depends on what type of security measures you can actually have. or what country you live in, because we have a few people in here from across the pond, and we always welcome, and up north in the Great White North. So love having the international audience here. It's awesome. And so, what do you do about personal security? We talked about Pew Pew a minute ago. That works for a lot of people. Some people not so much. But Pew Pew doesn't work if you're not at your RV and somebody breaks in. So and you don't even know about it. And again, I'll kind of go back to. I don't want to make this a big thing about the visible phone, but here's the deal with the visible phone, especially for you guys who store your RVs off site. So you can't have your RV at your home. So you may not see your RV for a month at a time, and it's sitting in a storage lot. And I have seen so many. Um, I'm just gonna throw this up here. You guys can read it. That's good info. Um, because I've seen so many people on Facebook talk about how they get their RVs were broken into, or they or run into or damaged somehow at a storage lot, and they have no idea when it was happened. And yeah, most storage lots have security cameras, but it's like some security cameras in some of these prisons that are supposed to be watching the prisoners, and yet the camera somehow malfunction when the prisoner is killed or kills themselves, however you want to call it. Uh, so with a visible phone, and I use this as a great example because it's only costs you $25 a month. You can put that in your RV in that storage lot and just plug it in to keep it charged. I mean, it's not going to drain your battery down that much, um, and you can use it, like I said, as a just by itself as a motion sensing security camera, using either the front or the back camera. You choose. You can't use them both, unfortunately. Um, or you can use it with like the Ring doorbell, or just a regular wireless security camera. That way you can see what's going on. You have video evidence if something does happen. You can see who did it, when it happened, etc. So those are for $25 a month. That's great peace of mind for those of you who store your RVs offsite. I used YouTube Studio app for the first time to schedule an upload this morning. I wonder why it isn't showing any comments in my normal YouTube inbox. That's strange. Well, let's take a look real quick. Hang on. And you may hear some snoring. It's not me. I don't know. That's really weird. I mean, the video looks normal. Yeah, Avenger Alpha is pretty cool app. And now I remember you're the one that told me about that. I'm almost positive. So give credit where credit's due right there. Yeah, I'm not sure why. See, I've never scheduled or uploaded a video with the through my phone on YouTube, but it always seems like there's odd questions that keep popping up like that. So I really don't know why. That's weird. That's good advice. That's good advice, Drew. Well, I'm certainly sorry to hear about being wheelchair bound due to a drunk driver. I'll definitely try to check that footage out for sure. Um, yeah, I can't plug in a mic because of how it mounts on the gimbal. Um, I really like the the DJI Osmo Mobile 3. That's the one we use, and I like it a lot. It frees up. It doesn't cover the bottom of a phone, so where all phones have their connections nowadays, so you can plug in, your microphones or even a charging, even a charger or whatever. There's a bunch of weird stuff going on outside, so I don't know what's happening, but I hear the noise, and that's okay. Um, Yeah, you can use the wise cams or inexpensive and great image. That's true. Yep, those are good. I mean to get some. There's one thing I probably shouldn't say this. One thing I'm lacking that I'd like to have for my security setup for my RV is I don't have any driver because I guess again I have a Class A. I don't really have any driver side cameras. So I'd like to set. I'll at least have one on the driver's side, and probably a couple more in other spots as well. Especially, I mean, uh, we do boondock occasionally, Walmart's, Cracker Barrels, things like that. So it's nice to have that added layer of security. And in our last video that we uploaded on Sunday, I kind of talked a little bit about that, and because Cracker Barrel is a great example. A lot of the RV parkings, a lot of Cracker Barrels we've seen is actually behind the Cracker Barrel. So it's dark back there. You can't see it from the road, so it's very secluded. So nobody really knows what's going on back there. So, you know, if you're concerned about your safety, having exterior security cameras is a big deal. Um, an easy way, especially if you have a class A or if you have a drivable RV, I'll just put it like that. A great thing to use for exterior security is a dash cam. Uh, you should have I highly recommend having a dash cam anyway. The dash cams we use, there's a link in the description, I think, of all of our videos. If not, if you go to our website, ourepicrvventure.com, and click on Amazon store, there's a link to it there. But the nice thing about at least the ones we have, the dash cams we have, is that they have a parking mode. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but basically, um, if you're parked and somebody hits your car, it activates the sensor and starts recording. Because it's actually has a motion sensor on it. So if your vehicle rocks, it turns on and starts recording. So that's a nice feature to have. I uploaded on my phone through iMovie, but then just so happened to learn I could schedule it through YouTube Studio app. Everything's everything worked great and on time, but no comments showing. But are you seeing the comments in YouTube Studio on your phone? Yep, that's the dash cam we use. And again, the Alfred app on all smartphone. Yeah, and the cool thing about is your, and again, when I was talking about using the Alfred app, it's a free app. Um, you if you have some place that you has internet already, then you can use any old smartphone. You just needs to be able to connect to Wi-Fi. So you don't the phone doesn't have to be on a service plan. It just has to be connected to Wi-Fi. And I recommend using Visible Phone because it's already an activated Visible Phone because you're only paying $25 a month for video security, actually audio and video security of your RV. And Uncle Lisa is dropping in here. Apps. Yeah, and the more the more I see, it seems like that the people that use the app on their phone exclusively that app seems to give people a lot of problems, whether it be trying to go live, scheduling stuff, or whatever. Then it's and I don't know why that is, because like I said, we don't use the YouTube app at all, um, the YouTube Studio app. Do you have any experience building a website? The last time I did, I was using MS Front Page, but I've been told to look at Squarespace. Um, yeah, I used to actually own a web hosting company. Um, Trev, I'll tell you the easiest thing to do is go to and probably the cheapest, because I think it'd be available to you too in the UK, is GoDaddy, and getting a WordPress website, or just Google WordPress, one word, WordPress website hosting. And WordPress is probably the most popular blogging software package, and um, it is awesome. It's easy to use. As long as you can type and read English or whatever language that you have it set to, then you can do whatever you want to do. Our website is done on WordPress, and it took like, I don't know, 10 minutes to do it. And it may look like a 10-minute website job because I haven't put a lot of effort into it. But it's really, oh, Papa Drew has a whole video on Alphabet. Sweet. There you go. Go check that out, guys. Learn more about it. But yeah, WordPress is definitely the way to go, just because it's ease of use, and you can do so much with it. There's a lot of plugins, and it's all free plugins and stuff like that to really add a lot of functionality to it. And here's some good advice from Following the Yellow Brick Road. Best to open YouTube on the web browser, where you can schedule it there, as well as put the end cards and the thumbnails and all that good stuff on it. Yep, that's true. But as we continue to roll down with some questions, um, I think what we really need to do is, again, everybody has. Happy Place Diaries put out a video about, I think it was his most recent video, like not most recent, but a couple of videos ago, something like the five tricks to be a YouTube mega channel. It was a tongue-in-cheek video, but I highly recommend you go to Happy Place Diaries, and Avenger or Drew, if somebody, one of you guys could go look that up and drop the link, I'd appreciate it, because he's poking fun at a lot of stuff. So it's a tongue-in-cheek video, but one thing he said was one of the keys to becoming to making becoming a big channel is you have to watch and listen to all the YouTube advice gurus out there, and I'm certainly not a guru by any stretch. You have to listen to them all, and you have to do everything they say. Even if one says do X and the other says Y, you have to do them both. And he's right. And the funny thing is, because I can sit here, and I've said this before, I could sit here, or Drew, if he was able to come up here, or if Dustin was here, you could follow every bit of advice we give you to a T, and there's somebody out there who's done the exact opposite and has 40,000 subscribers. And there's people that have followed everything we've done to a T, and they have 5 subscribers. And what that just means is there's really no rhyme or reason to YouTube in some respects. It really is about the content. If you have the right video at the right time, if you have the right video at the right time, Drew just sent me a text. If you have the right video at the right time with the right content, then your channel will explode. And it doesn't have to be a great video, quality wise. It doesn't have to have the great thumbnail or great tags or, the perfect description or any of that stuff. Um, yeah, this is it, and it's funny. It's good for a laugh, and 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 that's really because I'm sure you've seen them too. There's people out there with like tons of subscribers. They get tons of views, and nobody has you know and their content to me just stinks. I mean, I don't get it. I mean, I guess maybe I'm just that old fogey. I don't get it, or it is, or it's stupid to me, or whatever. But there's enough people out there that love it, and they're the YouTube millionaires. So what do we do? So what we recommend is more of the these are the things you really have to do, or should do rather, not have to do, but should do, and to help you grow until you do get that viral video, or viral video series. That'd be even better, right? To go out and say, for the world to see. um, you know and you've got to follow up, and then you've got to follow up once you have that one video. You've got to follow it up with just as good, if not better, content after that, or everybody you gained from a subscriber and view standpoint, they're going to go away, because it's the internet. You got basically one shot. Very few people, especially the younger they get, very few people are going to come back and say, you know what, I love this video, but their next two videos really stank, so I'm going to give them a third try. Most people aren't going to do that. They're going to give you the one try, and then that's it. Uh, there are a few different aspects to YouTube, us and radio and reviewers of music that use content like we do to get hit back up. Yeah, yeah, and it's kind of I find the whole copyright process, or copyright violation process, that YouTube has to be a little overbearing and a little over the top um, at times, because I mean, I know when KT was doing karaoke, so Momentum, he got some copyright claims a couple of times, and I know that's happened to Daydream, and I know it's happened to some other people, Faith in the Fallen, but you know it was. And how can an individual a cappella sing something, or play, or worse, play a 5 to 10 second clip, and now that's a huge copyright claim. You know, I thought that was how, especially in the music reviewing uh, genre and radio, I thought that's how artists got their songs noticed. I don't know. Yeah, yeah. Epidemic Sound doesn't really help that problem, Drew, because their problem is, they're reviewing music, so current music, and so it's not on Epidemic Sound. So they want to review the latest song, by some boy band. I don't know why you would, but they might. Um, that's not Epidemic Sound is not going to cover you on that one. So I'm as we squirrel back around to, and as you can see, I'm kind of out of it today, and I apologize. It's the heat here, and we've been trying to work getting stuff situated in the house, and I was actually out today. I bought, and I'm going to do a video review on this, but I bought another internet source. So I'm not just using Visible for my internet source, Because one thing I've always said is if you're going to be out on the road or you need reliable internet for whatever reason, and I see this all the time on Facebook groups. So it says, I need reliable internet. What's the best I can use or whatever? And people say, just turn the TV off and go enjoy the woods, or go do this, go do that. They don't answer the question. They just give their opinion that you shouldn't be using the internet. Well, you know what? I work and I need the internet to be able to work. So if I don't have internet, I can't be wherever, this place is. So for me to be able to go out and enjoy the woods, I got to have internet so I can go enjoy the woods after I get off work. So if you're one of those people that answer questions like that, just stop it. Don't judge people's lives. If they ask you a question, either answer the question or move on. Enough said. But and Danny, I did see your comment. I'm not responding to it, and I may not ever come back on your live streams again either. So just saying. But I excuse me. See, I'm working right now. Actually, okay, that's nothing. That's cool. So, and as we scroll, okay. So I need good, reliable internet. I mean, for work, and to run a YouTube channel, you need good, reliable internet as well. So I got a secondary source. Our primary source is Visible by Verizon, which everybody knows. I say it all the time. I pay $25 a month for unlimited everything, so you can't beat it. You cannot beat it at all, especially for Verizon towers, which are everywhere in the United States. But I got an AT&T solution I'm testing out right now. And I was at the RV most of the morning because the router I bought is actually a pretty cool router. It's a multi-source router, and it has 2 SIM card slots. So I can have that AT&T source in there, another source SIM in there. Plus, I can also, if I happen to be in the mythical campground that has good Wi-Fi, I can connect to the Wi-Fi at the campground. And the router, I can set up the router to either bond all of those internet connections together into one bigger pipe, or just use one at a time and I can prioritize them over like which one's fastest. So whichever one's fastest, and it checks each one of the links, every so often. And if one's faster than the other, it automatically switches from, say, the AT&T plan to the campground Wi-Fi or to the Verizon plan or whatever. So that's pretty cool. So I was actually setting that up today and kind of playing around and testing that out. So I want to hopefully have a video out pretty soon on that and how that works, because that's the great thing about it is, I mean, in the campground we're actually staying at now does have pretty good Wi-Fi. It's got like 35 megabyte down. So that's really good for a campground, especially. And it's more than you need for pretty much everything that most people do on the internet. I mean, you can watch, high def movies, the whole 9 yards. And I was just playing around with it, and it was cool to see how I can move stuff around. And yeah, I know. Yeah, what router do I use? You gotta wait for the video on that. I'm not revealing everything here. And hopefully the video will probably be out in about 2 weeks, because I want to do a review of the service and the router in the same video. But I will give a slight spoiler alert. One thing I did find out, and I was really hoping it would work. But for those of you who remember, back 6-8 months ago, Verizon had, not Verizon, AT&T had, or a lot of resellers were selling AT&T unlimited internet. The Togo was, not Togo, they were selling unlimited internet, but in a different fashion. But a lot of companies, third-party companies, were selling AT&T unlimited data internet. And what they were doing was they were kind of using a loophole in, that plan was only for tablets, like iPads and stuff. And what they would do, there was a website you could go to put in your SIMS number and register it as a tablet with AT&T, and then you took that SIM out and you could put it in your MiFi or your mobile router, and it would work. So you were kind of violating the terms of use, um, and that worked for a while, but then AT&T shut that down completely. And so I was hoping I could pull off that same stunt with Visible and use that SIM, because Visible doesn't offer data only plans. They don't offer MiFis or anything like that. So I pulled that out and put it in the router to see if it would work, and it didn't work. So I'm kind of bummed about that. I do have a way around it, I'll talk about, but um, it's not as elegant as it would have been to have it all in one box. Let's put it like that. Yeah, I wear a hat for your protection from the glare. So yeah, I know what it is. Not that losing hair. Well, there you go, senior sister. You're absolutely right. I 100% agree. Yeah, and Drew's here talking about, okay, what is MiFi? Uh, MiFi is basically it's a little like a jetpack. It's just another term for it. It's mobile internet's what it stands. Mobile Wi-Fi is what it stands for, Lynn. So it's at the wrong one. There we go. So it's just a little jetpack, mobile internet devices that you can get from AT&T, T-Mobile, Verizon, etc. Um, but Drew's talking about the Wi-Fi Ranger. I have heard a lot of good things and a lot of bad things about the Wi-Fi Ranger. And one thing you really need to understand about any of these boosters or range extenders or whatever they call themselves, whether they be Wi-Fi or cellular, is they only work if there's a signal there to begin with. And all they do is boost that signal. Now, in some cases, they can help increase the speed if you already have a decent signal. But if you only have one bar of Wi-Fi or one bar of cellular data, they're not going to give you, blazing fast speeds. They're just not. That's not how the technology works. It just gives you the ability to have something where there is nothing. But if there's already something there, sometimes it can boost up that something. Yeah, let's see. I don't think I've missed any other questions. KNR just showed up. Hello. Um, and there you go. And and that goes for pretty much everything. And well, here we go. Here's another one. We have a Weeboost that I would get rid of really cheap. Wasn't worth it to me. Yeah. And there's people I know that swear by Weeboost specifically. Love it, love it, love it. But you got to look at the use cases. I almost bought a Weeboost, and I may one day, but I can't talk myself into the expense for the potential of what I'll get back. But if you do enough, can't be there, but you're at 23% right now. It could, like I said, it could pop to 100 any second. It really can. So we'll hang in there with you. If you watch a lot on any of these Wi-Fi Ranger, WeBoost, whatever, they watched a lot of different videos on them. You'll see the gamut. This is the greatest thing since sliced bread. This thing's not even good for target practice. So it really unless you watch a video where the individual is explaining their setup and what they're trying to do in their current conditions, like the videos like with WeBoost and the Wi-Fi Ranger. Show me what your situation is, internet wise, without it turned on. Show me that you have 1 bar, 2 bars, whatever, or show me what your download upload speeds are. Now fire that thing up and tell me how it is. Show me that difference too. Go someplace where you actually have a good signal. Does it help a good signal become really good, or does it just help a very weak signal be a okay usable signal? And you know what? And depending on exactly where you're at and the service, AT&T, Verizon, or whoever at the time, it may work great. It may actually make it worse. And that's just the nature of the beast with that kind of technology. So and they're not cheap. I mean they run anywhere from I think $300 to $800. I mean it's kind of ridiculous how much some of these things cost, and a lot of them are difficult to use because they have directional antenna, so you have to point the antenna in the right way. And Drew has step by step with drone footage of how the Wi-Fi Ranger works out installed on his channel. But you said it didn't work, and you're trying to sell it, right? So I would highly recommend, again, if nothing else, try to find some of that stuff used. Look on, eBay, Craigslist, whatever, um, or Facebook. Especially the RV groups, you might find some of that stuff. It doesn't work, but he did a video on how to install it. Okay. Um, yeah. Now I have a Wi-Fi extender on our RV, and I haven't done a video on it yet. And I've had it for years. Actually, it's like 3 years old. I bought it brand new with our last RV, and I got it after watching a video by David Bott. If you don't follow David Bott, BOT is his last name, and that's his channel name, David Bott. He has a lot of great RV tech videos and how-to stuff. Definitely go check him out. He's a pretty darn big channel too. And he just bought it. And since Kyle's in here, he actually does have a Tesla, not a Tesla RV, but he tows a Tesla with his RV. He does have a Tiffin that he tows a Tesla with, so it's a Tiffin Tesla. I don't know, but he uses this range extender. It was only $100 maybe, but it's not for the technically challenged people. It's not hard, but it's a little cumbersome to use because it's really set up for a commercial situation. It's really built for a commercial situation, so it doesn't have a really easy to use interface. But with a little bit of instruction, it would take you about, I don't know, 5 minutes or so to actually set up once you get to a campsite. And this has a range, and it's omnidirectional. So the one I bought was omnidirectional, so the antenna works all the way around. So I don't have to go try to point an antenna anywhere. It has a 5 mile range. I wouldn't call it a 5 mile usable range, but I can pick up signals from about 5 miles away. Hey, there you go, Avenger, RV Adventure, David Bott. Yeah. Uh, Great source of information. So, and whatever you do, and I left this one up here for a reason at my backyard science. I've talked about this a lot too. Um, do not just connect any device you own to public Wi-Fi, because anybody on that public Wi-Fi network can see your device and potentially get into your device rather easily. It doesn't take a lot of work to break into a device that you will never know they actually broke into um, until it's too late. And and that's especially true at like campground Wi-Fi. Starbucks is probably Starbucks and McDonald's are probably the two worst because so many people use them and think it's secure. Anything that even if it requires you to have a password, um, no, you do not connect to Wi-Fi networks that you don't control yourself. So how do you get around that when you're out on the road? Real simple answer is you get a travel router. And I've talked about this in the past. Travel routers. What do I do with that thing? I'll throw it over here. A travel router really isn't much bigger than my travel router isn't a whole lot bigger than this motion sensor I was showing you guys earlier. It's actually almost the same size, and oddly enough, the same color. It's the TP. I use the TP Link. That's the manufacturer. TP Link AC 750 travel router, and the a link to that is in our Amazon store. If you go to our videos on internet for your RV, we got two of them out there right now. There's a link to it there as well. It's great. It's $40, and you connect all your devices to the travel router, just like you would connect it to your home router. And then you just connect whenever you get to a campground. You have to make one connection. You connect the travel router to the campground Wi-Fi, and you're done. Or you connect the travel router to your visible phone or your hotspot or whatever, and you're done. And the router gives you firewall protection, um, and you can, so it helps keeps you free from or keeps you safe from hackers. My Wi-Fi name is the people's phone numbers. Um, yeah. So funny enough, you said that, Drew. The password for the Wi-Fi at the fam camp we're staying at is actually the phone number for the office. So, that's easy enough to remember. And the nice thing about, and again, because Drew just popped in about the Wi-Fi Ranger again, the nice thing about the extender that I use is it does have a I could use it as a router, so everything be in one unit, but I really wasn't happy with the router function, so I don't. I just connect my travel router directly to it and use it that way. Yeah, that's true. It better said, it keeps you safe from wannabe hackers. Yeah, real hackers will get into your stuff regardless. But the odds of you running across a real hacker are pretty low because you're not, most of us out there aren't big targets. So my backup to AT&T has seen my Australia plane in my truck and had to use it to upload a video before when I was at Grand Canyon. Yeah, a lot of people with GM vehicles that have OnStar and the AT&T unlimited data plan, that's what they do. What used to be cool or kind of cool is, well, some of the older model GMs, you could actually wire it up really easy to have that hotspot turn on all the time, even when the car was parked and turned off. And you could just, and people would run a wire to the, most of them would run a wire to the trailer hitch connection, light connection, and they would, and it would keep the battery charged and also activate the Wi-Fi on there, so they have unlimited Wi-Fi. But newer GMs can't do that with, so that's out there. And yeah, and again, the nice thing about the router is, especially if you're using Visible, Visible only allows you one connection to its hotspot. So that's where the router comes in, because the router makes it where you can connect as many as you want. And the router also helps you get around the limitation that Visible has, where Visible only allow you to watch, um, will only allow you to stream video in 720p. So that's like low resolution or below high def, or the lower end of high def, whatever you want to call it. So with that, um, by using the router, Visible can't really see what the data streaming is, so it can't block it or knock it down. So you can still get 1080p. You can probably get 4K. I haven't tried it because I don't have a 4K TV, but you can get that. And so that's just reading here. So yeah, those are some great options out there. Again, I'm gonna be doing a video pretty soon on my new wireless and my new internet setup. So I think I'm going to keep it. So I got to figure out some things. And I've been saying I'm going to do a video about my Wi-Fi extender for a long time, and I still haven't done it. I keep forgetting to do that, so I need to do that too. And what else is going on in the world today? Internet always seems to be. If we're not talking about YouTube, we're talking about internet, um, and they're both big topics. And there's so many options out there for internet, for mobile people. Full time, part time, most time, whatever you want to call yourselves. Um, but really look at the cost. Like, I see these posts all the time on Facebook in the different RV groups. What do you guys use for internet? Well, I use this, and I pay only $150 a month for 50 gigabytes of T-Mobile data or something crazy like that. And I always wonder. I was like, why are you guys paying so much? I mean, I get nothing. If you click on the link, if you watch that Visible video and you click on the link, it's a link to Visible. It's not even an affiliate link. I get nothing. I get $0 back. The only way I'd make money off of this deal is if you click on the link to the router, and that's it, because I said I'm an Amazon affiliate, so I might make, I don't know, 50 cents if you buy that router. So I've really got no skin in the game, but I hate seeing people spend so much money on stuff when they don't need to. And there's a lot of RV stuff like that. I mean, people think they need to, buy the, most expensive, gizmo to do this or that. For a while, induction cooktops were the rage in the RV community. So everybody had to get the most expensive induction cooktop, even though it was the same as the $30 induction cooktop you could get at Walmart. Okay, now Blackstones are on the rage. I don't have a Blackstone. I've never been around anybody who had one, so I can't speak to them, but I hear they're great, and I'm sure they are. But does that mean you need to have one? Not necessarily. That's really up to you. But I hate seeing people, especially with the internet. And it's funny because when I'll post a comment on some of these um, Facebook groups about, and I'm answering a question, I'm not just throwing it out there. Somebody asks, it's a daily question on a lot of these groups about what they do for internet. I'll put out there, Visible. Then I get all these people, complaining about, well, why are you doing that? Well, this and that. And I'm like, well, what's your better option? And the answer is there's no better options out there. And there's and like, or more importantly too, what option you have that is as less that is at half, is at least double the cost, because any other option out there is at least triple the cost. I mean, this AT&T solution that I'm reviewing right now is $90 a month. So that's over 3 times more, and it's not unlimited, but it's about the cheapest I could find. So, you do what you want to do out there, but search for, economy first. And and again, I don't want to sound like I'm some visible fanboy, even though I am, because it's cheap, and it works. But give it a shot. I mean, the worst thing you're out $25. Well, if you might be out. Actually, no, because I was just looking at the website. Somebody's asked me questions about it. I think they're giving away $100 or $200 Visa gift card after 2 or 3 months of having Visible. So you might make money or break even by trying Visible right now. So just saying. Well, I don't really have a whole lot else. So unless anybody else has any questions, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up a little early. Because again, like I said, I apologize. I'm just kind of not really into doing this right now. Been kind of a rough day, rough week actually. So I just wanted to, I still wanted to have the call and talk to you guys and let you know what was going on. So I'll just give a couple of minutes here for people to answer their question. Ask a question. Excuse me. Shelly and Kyle just showed up, and I do have something here that I do want to share with the class. So you had to hang on a second. This is a Dr. Pepper milkshake, folks. And it's the best thing ever. So my backyard science, it says a mobile hotspot included. Is that just a hotspot from your cell phone or from a separate device? Nope, it's just from your cell phone. It only works. They don't do data only stuff. So you got to buy a phone or if you have a phone that works on the Verizon network, you don't even need to buy a phone. You just get a SIM card for free. So Avenger just dropped the link to traveling down to Bannister. So thank you guys for your time, and go check them out in about 20 minutes. We'll talk to you later. Bye.